Hi, hello. So today's subject is about what to do when a man is pulling away, he's becoming distant, and he's less loving and affectionate than he usually is. And I know how painful that is. I've been there. So this is a really important subject to address. So what can happen is there's a kind of a natural flow that can happen in a relationship where a man can withdraw. He, some people call it cave time, and he can kind of lean back. And then what can happen in us, and if you're anything like I was, is we can start making it mean that it's something to do with us. We start thinking, what have I done wrong? We might start analyzing what's going on for him, what's going wrong in the relationship. We might also find that we're leaning forward and we are trying to chase him. We're trying to talk about the relationship. What's wrong? What's going on? Why aren't you more affectionate? Why aren't you more loving? So in our way of being, we are leaning forward towards him. And that is really masculine energy. Another thing we might start doing is, we've all been brought up to be good girls. We might think that we need to do more for him. We might need to be more helpful, more loving, more affectionate, kinder. And all that amounts to us trying too hard and what I call overfunctioning. And there's many ways we can overfunction in a relationship. So in my marriage with my former partner, I would overfunction by doing things like I'd book his doctor's appointments. And I almost feel embarrassed to say it, but I'd book his doctor's appointments if there was a health issue that I felt he wasn't handling. I would maybe intervene in the relationship with the children to try and make things nice, to try and make things smooth, to try and make things better. But all that was doing is I was stepping into that masculine energy role of strategizing, problem solving, fixing, taking action. And what that did in those moments is it pushed him away and it created distance between us. And also, what overfunctioning does, it turns us into mothers for our partners. And that's completely unsexy. So, and on all of this kind of leaning forward, this trying to work things out, gives off a very masculine energy, needy vibe that will push a guy away even further. So what we want and what I want for you is to find your masculine, your feminine energy, because that is what is going to really give him the space to be able to close down that distance between you. Because for as long as we're leaning forward and we're chasing, he's going to keep leaning back. So a masculine energy man will want to pursue a woman. He'll want to be the one who's organizing, problem solving, fixing. So if you notice in your relationship that your man is leaning back and he's not doing all those things, have a little look at yourself and how you're being in the relationship. If there is a problem to be solved, are you automatically leaping in to try and fix it? And if you are, I get it. And I really relate to you because that's exactly what I did. And all it serves to do is push him away even more. And something else that may be happening for you that really, really happened for me was that anger and resentment built up in me. And when anger and resentment builds up in us women, there we can develop a hardness. And that hardness can again keep our man distant from us and keep him from stepping forward and stepping up and stepping into leading our relationship. So there are three simple things you can do to give him the space to come forward to you, for you to drop into your feminine energy in a way that can connect with him. So one is to physically lean back. So if you feel yourself leaning forward, if you feel yourself getting into fixing mode, into demanding mode, into blaming mode, just physically lean back. Lean back in your chair, lean back against the kitchen worktop. because a man needs that leaning back from us to propel him to want to lean forward. And don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen straight away. This is about shifting your vibe and creating new habits for you. And that starts with these little baby steps. The other step is to shift your focus onto you and your life. What I would say to many of my clients, especially ones who really have this leaning forward energy that I had, is to have a list of about 10 to 20 things that you can pick from. I call it a channeling list, where you can channel that energy that you're putting into him and putting into worrying about the relationship, thinking about the relationship, analyzing the relationship. Something you can do in that moment to take your mind off it, to refocus yourself. That could be really simple as cleaning out your handbag, doing pelvic floor exercises, making a cup of tea, walking in the garden and smelling the flowers, listening to the birds. Anything that can just in a moment take your mind off, because even though they might seem like little things, giving our mind a break, even just a few seconds break from a train of thought, can shift our thinking and shift our way of being and shift how we feel really, really quickly. And this is, again, baby steps. So it's really changing a habit. The third thing is connecting with you and your heart and your desires and what you really want. And we can be so busy thinking about him and maybe what he's not doing for us, and if we've done something wrong, that we can actually forget about, what do I want in a relationship? And what do I want for my life? What do I love doing? Do I love laying in the sun and feeling the sun on my body? Do I love spending time working on my business? And am I spending enough time working on my business? Or do I just love sitting in the garden, smelling the lavender and having a cup of tea at 6 a.m. when nobody's up? So what I'm talking about here is shifting the laser focus from him and the relationship onto me or you and your life. So these are 3 really, really simple things you can do to avoid the traps that I fell into. I mean, I can confess to something I did that so didn't work, and tell me if you relate to this. Sometimes when I really, really wanted to talk to my ex-husband about something, I'd feel really angry and really het up. And there were times I even stood in front of the television, in front of him, when he was watching football. And it didn't work. It only made me feel sadder and more alone, because he couldn't properly listen to me. So if I'd have known what I'm telling you now, I could have felt really different. So let me know how you get on with this. Do post in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll also pop a link to my website where you can get my free report, 5 steps to attract love like never before. Loads of great tips and advice and insights in there. Things that have really helped me change my whole life. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you and let me know what else you'd like me to talk on, what other subjects. Good to see you. Bye.